Welcome to Coach Speak. I'm Reese Davis. A new season brings a clean slate, fresh opportunities, emerging stars, surprise contenders, and one same old question. Can anyone stop Alabama? It's been that way for nearly a decade now, and Clemson did do it by a second last year. But that's what it's taken to keep Nick Saban's dynasty off the top rung of the ladder. Herculean efforts and heart-stopping historic moments. Since Saban's second season, the Tide has played in exactly 3 regular season games in which it was effectively eliminated from the national title race. Every rare loss earmarked as an instant classic and seminal point in the season, and yet the Tide rolls on. Perhaps as remarkable as the 4 championships in the last 8 years is the relentless consistency, one the boss shows no signs of letting slide as Saban enters his 11th season with the Tide.
Watson rolls to the right. Watson throws for a touchdown with 1 second to go.
Clemson is declared kings of college football and national champs.
Because of your stature in the game, everything you say gets seized upon. There's something you said this summer that, at least in my judgment, was taken not quite the way you meant it. I would like to know what you mean when you say you hope your team doesn't waste a failure.
Well, I think you don't want your team to waste anything. You don't want them to waste any opportunity. You don't want them to waste reps in practice. You don't want them to waste days where they could be out there improving themselves and their opportunity to be successful individually and collectively as a group. But you also don't want them to not succeed and not use the things that they learn from that. In order to improve, you have to be able to self-critique. Number one. But number two, you have to be able to take constructive criticism because those are the things that are going to help you learn. All right, so you have to kind of learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, if that makes any sense, because you're going to be in those kind of situations. So when you get beat and you lose a game like that, that's a tremendous opportunity to sit down, self-assess, all right, criticize what did we do well, what do we need to improve on, and challenge yourself to be able to do it the next year. And it should, from a psychological standpoint, make you a little hungrier. You know, I like the Lee Trevino quote about, you know, dogs don't hunt unless they're hungry.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
So you commandeered that one to use. What do you think? What do you think your biggest takeaway, your biggest growth, your biggest change was from that moment, from this offseason?
Well, I think the way the players responded. Look, all the good teams that we've had, tremendous ownership and accountability for whatever their role was on the team, buying into the principles and values of the team, the organization, and each other. I thought at the end of the season last year, the SEC championship game, when we had some of that time off, we lost that. As an organization, we lost it. All right, and I'm responsible for that. And we weren't as good when the playoff came and when the championship came. So I think that's something that we're really trying to make sure that our team is buying into.
Nick, with all the success, the consistent success you've had, what energizes you about a new season?
Well, it's always a new challenge. In college football, you always have a new team. You lose about 25% of your team from the year before. Lots of people have new roles. And the real challenge and the fun of it all is trying to put all these things together, the parts of the puzzle, the new opportunities that people have, and really see if you can develop the kind of team chemistry and attitude in your team that will enable them to progress and improve to accomplish what they're capable of accomplishing. And that in and of itself is a huge challenge, and it's something that I just love doing, but it's what gets you going every year.
Your off-season experience of going to the Stanley Cup final game that you went to, don the sweater, the whole deal, fan experience. What was that like?
I forgot what it was like to be a fan. I sat down to watch the game, and my wife Terry's waving her gold towel and all this stuff, and I'm sitting there and I felt so out of place. And I started to think, why do you feel uncomfortable here? And that's the first real live competitive venue I've been to probably for 6 or 8 years. I hadn't been a fan for so long, I forgot what it was like. And I felt uncomfortable, actually, because I wanted to be down there on the ice and I really don't know how to play hockey.
Did you get mad at the coach? Would you get, as a fan, would Nick Saban, the fan, get mad at a coach about a decision?
No, I think that I kind of respect what coaches have to go through. And a lot of times coaches get criticized where what they did wasn't necessarily the issue. The issue mostly is about how it gets executed. Mm-hmm. And if it gets executed properly and if it works, then you're a good coach.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get executed very well and it doesn't work, then you're not such a good coach.
So what's the most significant thing in terms of growth, most significant area of growth that you need to see from your team in the early part of the season?
Well, I think it's going to be how the young players mature. I think we have a lot of guys that are going to be in new roles, young guys that have talent. We have talented players, and we're excited about the opportunity to see those guys progress. But the maturity that they show in being able to develop themselves and stay focused on the things that they need to do to be able to play well, rather than getting affected by a lot of other things that are going on, whether it's criticism, whether it's external factors, whether it's fans, whether it's playing on the road. There's a lot of things that affect people that they can't stay focused on the important things. And I think with young players, that's always has some significance on how well they can perform on a consistent basis. So that'll be the real key for us, especially on defense, where we're going to replace, I think we had 7 guys drafted off our defense. So those guys really probably can't be replaced, but we can put a pretty good group out there that we have a lot of confidence in. If they play together and play the way they're capable of, we could develop into a pretty good unit.
Saban's next national title will be his 6th. That would tie Bear Bryant for the most in college football history. The lads in Vegas have Alabama as a favorite to deliver that title in January.